Stop doing Kegels with your boobs.
Jeez. I don't think that's how that works.
Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
He's just extended. Don't worry.
We're cousins.
I wasn't sure. I was like, I went long with that, and then you went with it too.
I noticed those things, you know, just the little things that
Just the little things.
make it special.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Episode 155 today. We have, holy crap, a lot of stuff, and we did. What did we do?
Do we?
Well, kind of. I mean, the funny thing is, for the first time, we did some only Discord recording, so we'll see if we can get that out there. But it went an hour long.
Bullshit for an hour.
Yeah. So you get to hear the pre-episode stuff of us just figuring out how we're organizing
And
things.
it normally doesn't take that long anymore. That's how long it used to be. Just think if we had pre-recorded back before we got like when we were all digital and all that stuff. Half of it's just like, why is there an echo? Why can't we? Where did that echo come from?
That
why are
would
we
have
doing
been
this?
horrible. Why is the settings changed? Why this shouldn't be changed? Like it just was.
There's a lot of self-doubt back then.
Yeah. But yeah, we have a lot. Well, the reason why we talk so much too is we were kind of discussing league stuff. So
And dollars to duels. And
dollars to
maybe how
duels,
that becomes
man,
like a thing.
freaking dude, I can't believe what's going on. So I kind of just want to jump into that a little bit.
Okay.
This has been a crazy 2 week, really. Like everything and anything from the reserve list has just been going absolutely insane.
Those cards
And-
that you think are really shitty are still shitty, but they're worth more money.
Worth a lot more. And it's not like the normal spike where just TCG's out of stock and then it just makes the spike go up and then no one ever sells it. These are actually selling at those high prices. I think last week I had mentioned on our Discord, I was like, hey, pick up your lifelines, $20. eBay has them right here. You can get near mint copies, blah, 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 blah. They're going to be 50 by the end of the week. By Saturday, I was wrong by one day because I said Friday it would be there. By Saturday, it hit 50, and now it's up to 60. So it's still going up. I've sold 4 copies of that I picked up earlier in the week for $20. So it's just, even like you said, the
really,
shitty
really crazy.
card, the ones that are like 50 cents to 75 cents are hitting $10. Like it's one other thing I did want to kind of mention with that is, and I mentioned this on the Discord as well, the eBay stuff kind of started this week. So what eBay is doing, and we kind of mentioned it a couple months ago or a month or so ago when I did my, grinds my gears thing.
Yeah. Yep.
eBay now, for cards that are $20 and under, you get to pay less on your shipping. You don't pay less than a stamp now, 51 cents, and they give you tracking on those cards.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really sweet. One thing I did figure out, though, is if you're trying to get tracking and it's over 20, really, if you're going to use, like, buy their tracking, put it in a bubble mailer or whatever, you really don't want to do that until you get over 25. Because if you sold a card for $22, your shipping is going to be $3. So it's actually going to cost you, you're going to make less off of it. You get what I'm saying? Because you're paying $3 instead of the 51 cents.
I get it.
So that part's been interesting because now I've been listing my cards. I don't really have many things that are listed between 25 and 20 because it doesn't make sense. If you're going to sell it for 23, you might as well just list it for 20 and make the extra money and sell it. So that part's been interesting. I think that's about it. We're done.
Super
End of the
insightful.
podcast.
Good night, folks.
What are you drinking there, Lowery?
Oh, it's a very good beer. It's called Bite Size from Modest Brewing. It's a peanut butter cup and coffee stout. And I'm drinking this really cold. I had it in the freezer for the hour that we were discussing. And I'm like, ooh, this is really, really good right now.
I'm drinking Lift Bridge Berry Blonde.
Lift Bridge is solid out of Stillwater.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty. Has a little berry taste to it. So I dig it.
You like it very much?
Oh my gosh.
No.
Dad
You
jokes.
should laugh at that. I'm
Dad
sure
jokes.
at least 3 people out there laughed at that joke.
So anything interesting happened with you this week, Lowery?
I'm sure. I don't remember though. Do you take notes when things like interesting thing happen to you? Or?
Yes. If it's
do?
funny, I'm like, I gotta write this down because I gotta bring it up on the cast.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I always wonder how you come up with those good stories, and I'm like, just a normal random week. I don't know.
No, I put a little on my episode sheet, little behind the curtain stuff. It'll be on the top to be like, oh, make sure to mention this. Make sure to talk about this. This week I have boobs. It's what it says on my sheet because we had kind of a scare up until today, and I kind of talked to you about it earlier. I was like, I don't know if we're gonna do the cast or not today. My wife Cindy had a mammogram thing last week, and the test came back. Man, that was awful. But it came back, and they're like, there's something that showed up on there. We need to have you come in and rescan. But you can't come in for like 5 days. So that's horrible because if you have to sit there for that long, like
why can't you?
Because they just didn't have an opening. It's just that busy.
Are there that many boob scans going on?
Yeah. There's a lot of boobs out there, Larry.
I mean, that's true.
But the hard part is like she treats cancer patients. That's what she does. And so that really got to her. And so she had her scan today. Everything came back okay. They said the thing that was showing up on the scan is she has muscular boobs because she's like athletic and stuff. And so the tissue is a little more like, I don't know. And she got kneed in the boob by Drake. So there might be some like deep tissue bruising or whatever.
Damage. Yeah. So how did they say that? When like, were they like,
what do you mean?
Well, you have, there's a deep tissue bruise.
Yeah.
And you have very muscular breasts. Like, is that how they said it? Or did you talk to Cindy on how that came out? Or
they told her you need to stop having your boobs lift weights. You need to cut that out.
Stop setting martini drinks on them and
stop doing Kegels with your boobs.
I don't think that's how that works. I just, when you told me that today, I was like, how do you have that conversation with somebody? I don't know. Did she know? Was it a male that said this? Or
no, it was
a female?
It was a female.
Okay, at least that's like...
Yeah, that would have been...
So it's something different. Like, you have impressively muscular breasts. That's how I think it comes out now.
You should enter competition.
Yeah.
Competitions.
If it was a male doctor saying it, it'd be like, muscular boobies. Like,
that's how we would say
that's
it.
That's how guys say it, right? Guy doctors. Super unprofessional.
And then those GIFs that I sent you are pretty awful. That was
is incredible.
Pretty gross.
Muscular people are crazy. Actually, one of those that you sent me is definitely injected. They have like injected muscles that are super fake.
That guy, the one guy,
yeah. Those are fake for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty gross. All right, so that was it for this week. Episode 155. What are we doing on today's cast, Lowery?
We are going to discuss cards that we think potentially could come off the ban list.
Woo!
And why and how and if it's acceptable or not. And some of these are just going to be wishes. Like, I wish this came off.
Right.
But does not mean that they will. So we'll discuss that in greater detail.
And then we have One Spec for Core Set 2019. And then, of course, Stumpin' Lowery.
The most popular segment we've ever done on CommanderSmiths, Stump the Smith Savant.
Stump the Smith Savant. Hey, so today I was thinking about this. This is an on-air production meeting.
Oh.
The next time we have a guest, like when we had Combo on, I think what we need to do is have it more of a competition. That you guys have guesses. Like instead of being, you get a guess. If you guess something, like you don't lose points. It's whoever gets it first. So I'll like read the flavor text, and then like you would go first, or our guest would probably go first because they're a guest, and then they go, "Is it from this set or whatever?" And then they get one guess, and if they're wrong, it goes.
We could do that. We could try
tweak a little bit.
I mean, we're stealing each other's answers too.
Yes, that's where you have to kind of structure it a little better. You don't want to give it away, like. And I would think then you get to ask something until you get something wrong. Maybe is how it goes. Like you keep asking questions. Although somebody could do it pretty smart and go try to figure out all the yes questions, which I guess that would work. You keep going until you get a no.
Yeah.
And then if you get a no, it goes to the next person. So you just got to be careful on what you guess.
That could be interesting.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
All right, let's get into tag stuff for this week. Starting off, it is Pick Your Proxy Month. Oh, so nice. Anybody that becomes anybody that's a patron by the end of this month, you will get to choose from any of the list of the proxies that we have done. And the people that are $1 proxy or patrons also get to pick a card, so they originally, every Pick Your Proxy Month, $1 people get to only pick on the Pick Your Proxy Month. So, there's that. We have a new patron, speaking of patron stuff, Josh Grimm. He would have been on last week's, but we recorded last week so early that he didn't get in on that one.
That's what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah, so he would have been in, but Josh Grimm, what do we say again? Shit.
Welcome to the Meat Force.
There we go. I'm like going back to the old stuff.
We do?
You rock? No, that wasn't it. Bad at this.
Boy.
All right, so $1 gets you into the Discord. $5, or it also gets you into the Battle Box League, which is finishing this week. And then we are starting up with Keldheim.
Yeah.
So that'll be starting up here soon. Prizes are with those as well. So, I almost forgot. We also had something big happen this week or this month.
I was going to say, are we going to talk about that one?
Yeah.
We're going to figure out a giveaway.
Woo! Why is that, Lowery?
Because we broke our record for month downloads.
Woo! Yeah. So thanks, guys. You guys are cool ass MFers. I wanted to say welcome to the Meat Force, but it didn't work. That's the other thing.
I wouldn't have. No. It would have been all right, though.
So, yeah, we'll be doing a giveaway. We haven't done one of those for a couple months, so I'll probably do a Twitter and a patron giveaway. I don't know. I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. Whoops. Yeah, we haven't. I guess we're doing it.
We totally
Maybe I'll
didn't
cut
even
that part
out. I hope it's good. I hope you like what we end up picking.
So back to Patreon. So $5 or more gets you the Proxy of the Week, and you get to pick every month. And like I said before, if you're $1, you get to pick every time we do Pick Your Proxy Month. Free way to support the show. Check out YouTube. Jump on there. Do what AJ does and go on our videos and just write bang, bang, bang. I think because of this button right here.
I don't want relationship. I just want bang, bang, bang. I don't want to know your name. I just want
bang, bang, bang. So that's what AJ did this week, is just went to a bunch of our videos and just started writing bang, bang, bang. But that helps, and doing comments, or just the very easy thing is subscribing. That's all you got to do. There are videos. Pick your Proxy of the Week happens there. We will have more Spotlight decks will be coming soon. Then you can also jump on Twitter. That's where you can see Proxy of the Week. Also curated MTG, right?
Yep.
I got it right that time.
Yeah.
And one of yours last week, that one got me to buy not a bunch, but it bought it for my new deck.
Negotiations.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
And then this week's was Peace Talks.
Yeah. The Kyrian Negotiations, I didn't even know about that card. That's sweet.
It is a sweet card. So that one just you tap a creature and it deals the damage to a player.
It wasn't any target?
I don't remember.
Well, fuck.
Oh, it might have been only. I don't remember.
Well, hang on. I have the card
Thank God we're not recording because you
right
just
here.
pointed it at your junk.
Let's see. Curious. I got to pull it up instead of. Okay. Deal 1 damage. Oh, you're right. To target player.
Yeah.
But still, like that's perfect. What you pointed out for Magda, because Magda needs your dwarves to tap, and you get treasure tokens. So it's
Torbrand. It deals 3 damage to
yeah
the player instead of 1.
And you can do it turn it comes into play, which is really nice because it doesn't have the summoning sickness stuff.
Yeah.
It's not the creature gains tap, it's tap a creature. So it's a sweet card. I ended up picking up a foil one and a couple random regular ones. So but yeah, that's curated MTG. Also not sharing with Adam is on there, and then any other fun stuff we decide to post on there. And then if you want to shoot us a direct message there, you can do so, or you can shoot us an email at gmail.com. All right, that's it for that. Should we get in the episode then?
Let's do it.
Oh, shit. I got to find the button. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right. You guys don't know how this game works. I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and because Lowery is a savant, he is going to ask questions, and any yeses I give him, he doesn't lose any points. Any no's I give him, so he's only asking yes or no questions. Any no's, he gets minus 10 points, and any clue I give him is minus 5 points. All right, so
Bring it on.
let's see here. Which one do I want to start with? I have 3 of them, up to 3, so we'll just see how this goes. I'll start with the one that I kind of came up with.
I've been killing it lately, so we'll need
you need a
3
couple
of those.
100%ers here. So, all right, here we go. It is not a goal, but a process. The process of creating the perfect Phyrexia.
All right, so this is going to be a Praetor, and
How
I
do you
want to
figure
say
that out?
that this is Jin Gataxius Korogger.
God damn it, you suck.
What?
That's you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. How did you break that down? How did you get a?
All right,
How'd you
so
figure that one out?
the perfect Phyrexia would definitely be coming from new Phyrexia. That is, they had a little bit more of a focus once they got to Scars of Mirrodin with their storyline.
Mhm.
Before it was just like Phyrexia, like the old school one. There wasn't like a perfect Phyrexia or whatever. So it was either Jin Gataxius or Elish Norn. I wasn't sure which one 100%, but Jin Gataxius is the one
I did
that like,
so much
does the processing for it.
So I did different clues for this one. I was gonna put I was gonna say in the webcomic, he and his minions capture Tezzeret and brought him before Karn. So I was gonna use some lore to give
I
you
didn't
hints
know
on
that
this one.
That's pretty cool.
And then also he is the author of the of a revisionist philosophy, Great Synthesis. Man, can't even talk.
That might be a card too.
So I was gonna give you some lore clues on that.
That would have been
one.
really
So
cool. I
that
like the
sucks.
idea of adding in lore clues. I am sorry that I got 100% on
You were
that.
just an awesome. Hey, you got 100. Good job. All right, so the next one. This is the one I had for last week, but
We didn't
we
get
went
to.
too long with it.
That's
So,
totally
all right, ready? This one's short, so good luck.
Yep.
Good help is hard to dig up. Good help is hard to dig up.
Black card.
Yes?
This is from Commander Product. And then it was
Are you asking that?
No, I'm
You're just talking
I'm
out loud?
stating it, and it was recently reprinted. I want to say in like either Mystery Boosters or the list. It's a legendary creature.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe I'm off. All right.
Good help is hard to dig up.
Is there?
And it is a black card.
It is a black card. Okay. Is there any association with Liliana on it? Like,
No.
okay, no association. Okay, now I'm starting to get lost. I thought I had it. I thought it was there's a legend that taps and you got to sacrifice a creature and then it creates that many 2/2s. I thought that's what it was. Good help is hard to dig up.
Yep.
Hint.
Let's see. Deals with the top card of your graveyard.
Is this a zombie?
No.
Deals with the top card of your graveyard. Is it a creature?
Nope.
Not even a creature, huh? Okay, so instant sorcery, probably not. An enchantment, probably not an artifact. Probably not a planeswalker. Good help is hard to dig up. And it's specific. You said it's the top card of the graveyard?
Yep.
Or top creature card?
Top creature card is kind of what the next one was going to be. Specifically a creature.
Okay. Is this an instant?
It is.
Shallow Grave?
Yes, good job.
There we go. I got there.
Nice. So last week's theme was all those were reserve list cards. So this was the last of the three.
I don't remember last week.
It was Glacial Crevasses and Didgeridoo.
That's right. Okay. That was last week? That feels like a month ago.
I know. Because we recorded that one early, so it feels even longer.
We got 3 extra days.
Right, exactly. All right, the last one. I haven't seen Life's Purpose, and now it is my own. Kamal Druid. Is it Acolyte?
Yeah. I have seen Life's Purpose.
I have seen Life's Purpose, and now it is my own. Kamal Druid Acolyte.
Green card?
Yes.
Enchantment?
No.
Okay. Hint.
Eyes are the main focus of this card.
Biorhythm?
There you go. I was trying to get that one by you because we were going to talk about that one in a little bit here. I was like, this should be on his mind. He should have seen it.
I own this one, foil 8th edition. So, but yeah, the eyes. That's great art, even though it's very simple.
You're so lucky. My buttons, I couldn't get back to the "oh, good for you." I'm like hitting it, and I'm like, get back there, get back there. All right, let me get this done. All right, that was good, Lowery. You got a 100 and a 90, and Shallow Grave was a little tougher. So that one you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 55. So yeah, I got a 55 on that one. Not bad, not bad. All right, so what are we on now? We are moving to, is it a top 10? I don't even know what we want to call that.
I don't either. Let's do a top 10. But it's not. We got like 12.
Box topper!
You're just doing a box topper. This is the box topper segment. Right on.
I got to remember to have like little segment stuff for everything, but that's fine. Box topper works because it's you.
Box topper!
Because it's you.
Just sounds like you're a barbarian and about to slice somebody in half.
That would be like some summer sausage. Cut that in half. Get some good cheddar on a cracker.
Stopper. All right. So what we are doing is we went over the ban list, and you had this idea a while back, actually, wasn't it? You were like, what cards could we touch on that were reserve list stuff that maybe could get unbanned? And I think when we looked at it, I think originally I was just like, nothing. So that we didn't really do it. But then I guess lately I've been looking at some stuff on there and I'm like, man, some of these cards just aren't that bad and I don't know why they're banned. So what we kind of did here is we broke these down into tiers. Tier 3. Well, let's
I
back
think
it up.
all of these cards, one of us at least would like it to be unbanned.
Yeah. Except for tier 4, which we're not going to mention, are all the cards that didn't make it on any of these lists. Those are ones that just won't ever get on banned.
Yeah, like there isn't even any hope. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's hope for tier 3.
Right. But
So
a girl can dream. So why don't we start with tier 3 and work our way up to tier 1 of cards that we actually think that could see a unbanning. So why don't you want to start us off with the first one?
am I going whatever one I want?
Yep, just pick it.
I'm going to go with Recurring Nightmare. Let me type it in here. No, it's a 2 colorless and a black enchantment. You sacrifice a creature, return Recurring Nightmare to its owner's hand. That is the activation cost, and then return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And you can only activate this as a sorcery, which is the drawback, right? And that seems totally fair.
And
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
see a big problem with this.
I do, though.
But you had pointed out when we were kind of precast talking about it, there's just a lot of things you can do with this to really abuse it. And one of your examples was the Evening Star, that dragon, right?
Kakusho and Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and just like sacrifice one of them to drain a bunch of life, gain a bunch of life, and then bring the next one, into play, and then
I guess
for
my
3
point
mana-
with that is this has to come to your hand too, which you had made a point that if this was sacrificed, it'd be more fair.
Well, so the other thing that, if this was sacrificed, totally fair card. But the big thing is you can't even like destroy it, right? The only thing that can stop it is Crows and Grip.
Well, you could, if they didn't have a target for sacrificing a creature.
Then you wouldn't play it.
But what if they just, I guess you're right, because you can respond. No, but it's activate this ability only at the time you can cast a sorcery.
Yeah, okay.
So you
I
could
got
do it when it's sitting out on somebody's turn.
But you wouldn't do that. You play it, bring it back to your hand, sacrifice a creature, bring one back. And then if you can do it again, you're doing it again. Like, it's just an engine that sits in your hand and is really hard to interrupt.
If this was unbanned and they printed it again, don't you think you would see this maybe more in besides people comboing? Like, you'd see a lot more combo decks with doing that and it working, but I felt like it's a good recursion card. Like, I would see myself casting it and like almost I guess the sorcery part takes it away, because that's the part that would save your creature. You're right, because you would cast it and do it that turn to save your creature,
and it's back in your hand, and so it's incredibly hard to deal with other than counterspell or Crows and Grip.
But do you think that this would be better as an instant? Like, of course, better, but you know what I'm saying? Like, then people would be playing it to save their... No, then it would be a lot better.
Yeah, well,
I just talked myself out of it. If it was an instant speed or able to activate it anytime. Because what I was thinking is it's more of like a regeneration for your creature in a way,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but that's not how it's not going to be played that way.
No, I know.
Unless it's a one shot. There is there's a white card that's white colorless, and then target creature that died this turn comes back into play under your control. I don't remember what it's called anymore. It's reserve list, but that's a fair card, and you can do that for any creature that died that turn. So opponent's yours, whatever. This, like, so you'd totally play a card that was like black 2 colorless, sacrifice any creature you control, bring a creature back into play. The problem is that you can just continually do this as long as it's your turn. So
I guess my question is, why did this even make tier 3?
Because I want it to be unbanned. That's a personal
That's a
card.
So you can do shitty things to people. Is that what you want to do? Is that
well,
what it is?
so I remember years ago, a decade ago, when I was first getting into this. I remember my buddy Matt playing this and just wrecking my shit. And then I go and find that it was banned. And I was like, that card's banned. Totally awesome. I know why you're playing it, but that's why it's banned. So It's been banned for a long time, and it's going to stay on that ban list. But it's more of just, I would love to play with this card, but I understand why it's banned.
All right, the next one on the list is one. It's kind of on the same boat of what Lowery is saying with Reoccurring Nightmare, but it's one that I really like, and it's Rafellos Llanowar Emissary. Is that how you say it? Emissary.
Yeah.
So this one they used to have. If you've been around playing Commander long enough, they used to have a separate commander. Like these commanders are banned as a commander, but you can play them in the deck. And then they just got rid of it altogether. And this at one point, didn't it go, it was legal all around. Then they go, okay, it's banned
as a commander
in both the commander and in the decks. And then they removed it so that you could play it in your deck, but not as a commander. And then they got rid of that commander thing, and now it's just banned altogether. So what this card does is it's just ridiculous because it adds 1 green mana to your mana pool. You tap it for each forest you control. The problem with it is it's a legendary creature. If it wasn't legendary, this would be totally fine as in your deck, as part of the 99. It's still abusive, but it's
good. Yeah,
but think of it as Gaia's Cradle isn't banned.
That's going to be my argument for the next one. So, but I think Rufus here is just it's too good. Incredibly.
You take away that
powerful.
legendary creature part of it. If it can't be your commander, I think this is a totally playable card and not that bad. Because the thing is I guess you would play this. This would be in a lot of green decks. It would be in every green deck.
Yeah. Like there isn't any real drawback. Like with Cradle, like it ebbs and flows during a game. But for Rofelos, like it doesn't. It's just your lands don't go away, so it's always there. Like, would you be like Cradle's good because after Wrath, it's not a very good land. It's still not bad, but
right.
But like this is just always on. So I've had you play it against me back in the day, and it's awful to play against. It is no, seriously. I've
really played that with it was never my commander though.
Correct.
Right? It was never. It never had.
Just you would tutor for it.
Well, because remember, I would either hit this or Gaia's Cradle. Yep. Is what the problem was. Is I had 2 things that were super ramp heavy, and I would hit one of them almost every game, and it was brutal.
Yep.
But so I guess just my question is, if they remove the legendary part, would you still want it banned? I think it could be in a deck then at that point, because again, you're looking at the 99. Yes, it is a very powerful card. But you still got to hit it.
More restrictions on it.
Like what? Don't restrict him. He's my buddy.
Yeah, like it'd have to say like basic forests instead of just forests to pick up on duels to at least a little bit. But I don't. I have bad feelings about it, so I don't like it.
Hence why it's in tier 3, but I still have hope that it could get unbanned someday.
Doubt it. Highly doubt it.
All right, what's our last card in tier 3?
This one is something that you brought up too, and I don't know if I want this one either, but Tolarian Academy taps for a blue for each artifact you control, and
come on, we have Gaia's Cradle out. Why can't this be out?
We
have Sarah's Sanctum out. Why can't this one be out?
I would prefer, even though now I have a Gaia's Cradle, I think getting rid of Gaia's Cradle would be good for the format.
Hey, you shut your mouth. Don't you dare. No.
I think it's
terrible.
Be good.
No, that is an awful. If you say that, then that means all the dual lands should be gone too.
Disagree.
Don't.
Disagree. It's just incredible ramp that is highly unfair. So I can
Larry,
again. It's
I'm not
here.
mad. I'm just disappointed.
It's here and it's around, and people have spent a ton of money on it, and I get why you don't, because it does ebb and flow with wraths and stuff like that. But with Tolarian Academy, like, everybody plays a ton of artifacts those first couple turns, and you can just get massive amount of mana out of Academy early turn, and it's better than Cradle.
But do you think that if this was legal and people are playing it more, it became more available, actually the price would go through the roof. Yeah. But do you think there'd be more artifact hate, like mass artifact hate?
I think there's already a bunch. There'd be more for sure.
This could get shut off more because there's a ton of artifact hate. But I what I'm saying is, I think there's more board wipes for creatures than artifacts. Do you think that would increase more, and then that would be more fair? I get what you're saying. I liked it because I was like, it's like Gaia's Cradle. There's a lot of, what do you think's easier to remove, creatures or artifacts? Creatures, obviously. Yeah. Artifacts is number 2 though for removal, don't you think? I
would agree.
And then you got enchantments down below that. So why isn't Sarah's Sanctum banned?
How many enchantments are you playing?
I know.
For
I'm just
1 or 2?
kidding.
Like, I think that's the big thing is, like, good enchantments start at like 3.
Yeah.
And
they need to start producing make enchantment rocks. Then we'll be playing them more, and then Sarah's Sanctum be amazing.
Well, they have that new Planeswalker, which really interesting in my mind. It makes
which one? The green one?
Tokens, coins, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that one seems really cool.
Was it shards? Is it making
Maybe
shards?
That's what it is.
All right. Well, that is for tier 3. Those are ones that
one of us would like, and the other would
not.
The
other one is. I actually don't mind Reoccurring Nightmare. So it almost seems like Adam liked all 3 of them, and Lowery, even though Reoccurring Nightmare was on your list, you talked it out of it.
Yes. Yep. I understand.
All right, so
I don't think. Yeah.
Tier 2 is cards that, for whatever reason, has a better chance to maybe become unbanned. They're still really powerful cards. Let's go through those. We have 3 in here. Tier 1, we have a lot more. So we have 3 in this list. Why don't I start with one that kind of got me thinking about all this to get back on this train of going through this list. But Prophet of Kruphix is a ridiculously good card. Don't get me wrong. So it's 3, a green and a blue. Human Wizard 2/3. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each other player's untap step. You may cast creature cards as though they had flash. I think that's the reason why we're getting this. That one got the ban, is there's just too much good stuff on it. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the arguments I made with you is, like, at what point with the power creep does this card actually become okay to play? Like, with everything, it's just, we have cards that do this, either parts of this. And this is dependent on 2 colors, which are really good colors, but still, why can't this one catch an unban with the power creep going? Yeah.
Yeah.
And even now, I think it's getting close that we have such good cards out there. Why can't this catch? I understand there's a lot of combo stuff with it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you're going to be playing it like how people play Seedborn Muse, or, there's so many other cards that do similar things, but it takes 2 cards to do it, where this has it built in on 1. I think that's its downfall.
Yeah. It's just, I think you're right. I think it's too much good stuff, and it's too, like, that flash part. Playing creatures at flash speed just seems like the kicker, right? Because you're
playing on other people's turns.
Yeah. And I think this is one where you could tweak it a little bit and be like, you can play artifacts at flash speed, and I think it'd be fine. It'd still be really powerful, but I think it's unbannable at that point, because that's, like, this is really almost a fully green card. It's hardly a blue card at all.
Right.
And
isn't the flash part kind of the blue part of it?
Green plays at flash speed for creatures, though. They have 2-ish cards, so it's not unheard of for green to be able to do that.
Right. But yeah, that's where they get it though with the blue part. But yeah, where do you feel this is on the list? So when I was looking it up to give you an idea, I started like, they're cheap. The foils I've been picking up here and there when they're really cheap. Like Card Kingdom had them for like 60 cents. You can sell them on eBay right now for $5-6, like those same foils. But I started like looking up blogs of people, or people's, not blogs, but discussions. I'm going to people's
Chats,
blogs
threads.
all the time. Yeah. And it's kind of 50-50, or maybe not 50-50, maybe 70-30. You have 70% are just like, no, this card's awful. It's just you're playing on it's the same thing as Rashmi. Rashmi does a similar thing. Why I don't play that deck is because the deck is meant to play everybody's turn. And that's what ends up happening with Prophet. I think that's why I got banned, is because you're typically, all your stuff is untapping on other people's turns, and then you're just playing all your creatures, and it just makes the game go long. But
I think that's how, when you played it in your Rashmi deck, it was like playing an extra turn for you. And so since it's in green and blue, like it's just kind of too good. I think, and you might be right. Like in the future, it might just become less powerful. But man, it seems like Vidalcan Ori's a $40 card. Leyline of Anticipation is going to get it back up to a $10 plus $20 card. Flash Speed is really, really good.
And
untapping cards.
Winding Canyons now is getting over 50.
Yeah.
Because it's a reserve list.
And so that's the kicker part. That would be a big thing that stops me. And also I just have those memories attached to it. That just, it's the experience part, right? Of just like,
right.
That didn't make games more fun or better. It just lengthened them quite a bit.
Well, it's just a super powerful card with so much on it. Like it's the what's the other one, that Paradox Engine kind of thing going on. Paradox Engine just
that one. I don't think that one ever comes off.
Nope. And that's why we didn't even put it on the list. That's a tier 4. We don't even talk about it.
It's bonkers. Too crazy. This one, when this caught the ban, I think we were both like, huh, okay. I don't think we were as invested in what's crazy and what's not at that point either. I think it was just in your Rashmi deck, and it sucked to play.
It's how our play style is. We don't try to do combo stuff or that. Rashmi was just a dick deck, and it's just meant to play.
Yeah, it's still a dick deck for sure.
Yeah, that's why I don't play it. So that's what happens, is when we know that it's a dick card or a dick deck, we typically stop playing it. So what's another tier 2 card that we have on the list?
Primeval Titan. I
love that card.
This was a Smith Savant card a couple weeks ago. 6/6 trample. When it comes into play, go and search for any 2 lands and put them into play tapped. And then whenever it attacks, you get to go and search for any 2 lands and put them into play tapped. This card,
it's super good.
It's really, really good. Yeah. And like Primordial Hydra can go and get any 1 and put it into play.
And that one is a 6-drop as well, isn't it?
6-drop as well, and its power toughness is equal to the amount of lands you have.
Yeah. So and that one doesn't have the attack factor of that. That's the hard part, is Primeval. The reason why there's a couple reasons. Gaia's Cradle is probably one of them. But the other part of it is it's not just an ETB, it's an attack. So if you even have Hasty, you can do it 4 land in 1 turn, and that's why this card pretty much caught a ban a long time ago. But it's so good. It's so much fun.
So the reason it was banned is pretty similar to the Emrakul banning. Was like, it was just the card that you put in every deck. It was race to go and get it. And it just broke the game wide open, like way too much power there. And I get that. And I would say if you ban Cradle and Coffers, I think the card is relatively fair.
Well, if you go and do that, then fuck Primeval. He can stay off the list. I don't want him.
I'm just trying to say,
saying,
like,
though.
I think that's
Those
what
are
you
the
can do. It's that crazy amount of mana. You might have it. You probably got to go for a couple of more lands too. So it's probably not worth it. Like, it's nice when there's an easy split between, like, we're gonna ban Iona, but you get Painter's Servant. You're like, you know what? I think that's a better as a whole. And so it's like, you can ban if you can have Primeval Titan back, like, you got to ban 2 lands, 3, 4, like, what's the right number? And then you're like, well, that's too many cards. That's probably not the right call.
Or do you just errata the text and say you get 2 cards? Or I was going to say, when you don't get the attacks part, would he be more fair that way? You get 2 land, but you don't get it when he attacks.
Even those first 2 lands, like a Cradle or Coffers in the Tomb, like, it's really just throws you ahead so far. I think if you just errated it to basic lands, it'd be fine as well. I think that would be my preference.
Yeah.
And so, like, a house unban with just getting basics
would be fine.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
That's a good point. And then the last one on the tier 2 list is Sylvan Primordial. Now, this one actually probably is the highest on the list for me for tier 2 to go up to
tier 1.
Maybe push up to tier 1. But this one it's a 7-drop. It's 2 green and 5 for a 6/8 reach. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, destroy a non-creature permanent that player controls. For each permanent destroyed this way, search your library for a forest card and put that onto the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle your library. So what is the reason why this one got a ban? Is it because you can target land? I mean, and it's giving you so much ramp. You get to go get 3, not basic, it just says forest. So this is, what if, go back to Primeval, what if that said forest instead? Instead of basic, what if it said forest? Would you be fine with that?
I think that would work too. I think that would totally work.
So let's move forward to this one. You're paying 7, which is a huge cost. Like, at that point, you're doing some game-changing stuff almost. It's giving you 3 land, potentially, depending on how many players you have, and you're destroying problematic permanents, at the very least, a land. I could see this one being a tier 1 at that, you know? Like, I don't have as big of a problem with this one.
I think I agree with you. I do remember doing disgusting things with it. And, you know, like copying it with Riku, and that was before Panharmonicon was in play. Or, you know, like, this can do some really crazy things with, like, blink effects. So, like, that...
But that's like a lot of cards. A lot of cards you can do crazy things when they're paired with stuff.
But is it as crazy as this? Because it's a big swing when it comes to destroy 3 permanents, ramp 3 land, do it again. I think if you take out the land part, then I think it's tier 1. Like, if it was just non-land, non-creature permanent, I think that's fine.
Oh, if you could destroy a non-land.
Yeah. If it was just non-land, non-creature permanent.
Gotcha. I thought you were saying getting the lands. I was like, that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah,
Destroying your opponent's lands.
But don't you think this was the answer for Gaia's Cradle in a way? It seemed like this is the way to get rid of those problematic lands. But
this green card that you ramp out with Gaia's Cradle is definitely the answer to Gaia's Cradle.
We'll just give everything to green.
Yeah.
The answer for green's power is more green, so you better play green. Do you have a splash of green? You should have green.
Since everybody's playing green anyway, how about we get... Yeah,
I agree. I can dig that. Yeah. If you got rid of the land part, I think that was my initial thought too, is that the reason why this is banned in the first place is because you can target land, because you're getting 3 ahead while also potentially taking down the board 1 each land. You definitely get a huge swing advantage when this card hits.
It's a really big swing. And that's that difference. Think of that elephant that comes into play and can hit non-creature permanents, but they get a 3/3 elephant. Terastodon. That's a good card, but you're also think of how crazy would that be though, is if you could destroy any 3 permanents or any non-creature permanents and go and get forests. That would be it's a very similar card, but just losing half that effect makes it, and actually giving something to whoever lost something. If it didn't have land, it'd still be a really, really good card, but much more considerable.
It would be right. All right, let's get to our tier 1 stuff. Is it on me or you? It's on you.
Me. Yeah. Let's just go with the simple one that we Smith Savanted, Biorhythm.
And yeah, this one's pretty easy.
And so this one is 6 colorless green. Okay, so yeah, let's go back. Tier 1 is something that we think we both would want pretty much and think can come off the ban list.
Most of them.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of them we're going to talk about where it probably drops it to tier 2, 3, or 4 because of
reasons.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. But this isn't one of them.
Biorhythm, 6 colorless green sorcery.
So it's
each player's
8
life total becomes a number of creatures he or she controls.
So you're paying 8. That's a game changer type cost. Again, you're getting 7 or higher, really. 6 is kind of your good stuff happening, but when you get over that, this is a game changer. To combo this, destroy all creatures and somehow keep yours alive and then play that's a lot of mana you got to sink into this. So I don't know why this got banned in the first place, because it's a game winner. It potentially could be, or it's just a game manipulation. It
shortens games quite a bit,
right? You would think they would like that. That's the point of it. You get something that it's all of a sudden everybody's at 40 and whatever, and now everybody's at 5, 3, 2, and 6.
Then everybody's going, whoa, okay, I need to be on defense, or I need to be able to do this, and this. Yeah, I think it's an interesting card. Like you said, it's expensive. It's 8.
It's 8.
It's
not an instant, and it's a sorcery, so it's you're not doing this on other people's turns.
Maybe the problem is that it's in green, the ramp color, and so maybe it happens too early. But I think most people, it's going to put everybody around 10 or less, probably 5.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's, you still got to get through. So if everybody has roughly 5 creatures, everybody goes down to 5 life, you get a chance to attack, but they're able to block. And so maybe that's a problem. This was banned before we realized it or even started playing with it, so we never got a chance to play with it.
I did have it in a deck.
I think you were cheating though.
I think you're right. It might have been before we were looking at the the ban list.
No, before,
because I was cheating for a while. I was playing.
Yep.
I was playing with Primeval Titan, and I was playing with this card. And every time we play, you'd be like, "That's banned. Adam, that's banned." I don't care. I don't play it by a ban list. But yeah, so I don't see why this one is on there. It's a huge cost for something that shortens the game up.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine. I think people could get annoyed by it, but is this? I don't know if this is as good as Cyclonic Rift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it affects you too.
Yeah.
I mean, It's not like it kills all the creatures. If there's creatures on the board and you knock yourself down to that, you're also in reach.
Yeah, if you just pissed off everybody, like you become the target, right?
Right. And your life probably isn't that high. So I don't know. It's a card of on this list is one that I scratch my head at why is it even on this list, but why it's even banned, I should say. Yeah. Okay. The next one is kind of not similar, but it's similar in that evening out the table a little bit, but balance is one that thought was interesting why this hasn't been unbanned, but it's 1 white and 1 colorless sorcery. Basically, everybody at the least amount of whatever, that's what you go down to. So whoever has the least amount of lands, everybody sacrifices that many lands to get down to the fewest. Same with discarding cards and creatures. Doesn't affect artifacts, so it's your lands, hand size, and creatures.
Planeswalkers, it doesn't affect either.
Right.
Wink.
So we already have a shittier one of this. Is the White Magus.
Yeah, Magus of the balance.
So and you also, don't you have the suspended one too? Isn't there a suspended Magus?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. So it sucks because I think part of it is maybe it's the hitting the land part, but
could be.
It's kind of cool.
Could be.
I think it's a cool card.
I mean, but we still have Armageddon too.
That's a good point.
I think one issue. So if I'm remembering right, this could just be like feel bads for the people that make the rules because they've been around forever and they know what it was like in Vintage and Legacy, before they're named that. But basically, you would go Mox, just drop your hand and play 1 to 0 lands and then cast balance.
And then wipe everybody else's stuff.
Wipe everybody else's out, yeah. Because this doesn't affect artifacts, right?
Right. No, it doesn't affect artifacts or planeswalkers, like you said, or enchantments.
So you basically drop your hand as much as you can, cast it on turn 1 or 2. Everybody loses their land, their hand, and you're at a huge gain. And so there could be that, but I feel like by the time you're casting this,
you're not basing your deck around balance. It's a sorcery,
Yeah.
This is going to be in white decks to balance and white needs this.
Yeah.
That's my other argument is white needs a card like this to be like, oh fuck, everybody's ahead of me. They have so much land. Oh, blue has all this card draw and green has everything. And fuck, what do I have? Well, balance gets it balanced out. So it just knocks everybody down.
I think that's a really good point too. It's like, it's a check on a lot of the other colors.
Mm-hmm.
And if white had this, I think it'd be a big bonus for white. Yeah. And it might just hit a little too much.
Because it's hitting hand and land, maybe is
creatures.
The two. Yeah. Well, creatures I could see.
Yeah,
it's more of the hand and the lands. Creature, you get board wipes all the time. It's more of hitting the hand and the land is kind of tough.
So I get it. I kind of get why it is, but I wouldn't mind seeing what it's like being unbanned for a while.
Yeah, that's a good point. It'd be cool to do a test of some of these cards and just go, hey, kind of like they did with Unstable, where I thought they actually were unbanning it or all the unsets. Just doing a test period of a couple months or a year or something like that. And we're unbanning these just to see how they go. And they're kind of on warning. Or don't they have a warning list for other other formats too? Not a warning. They call it something else.
Yeah.
It's like I don't remember. Not restricted. That's the how many you can have, but it's like we're putting you on notice. If you behave badly and this is terrible, you're back to banned. So I think some of these could catch that, this would be one of those to see how it
I think an interesting thing to do would be unban something for 3 months and just say this will be banned after this 3 months. And then, won't
then reevaluate
but you do
how
that
things...
every 3 months and we're going to try this card. We're going to try this card.
I like that idea.
And then just be like, this will be banned, be upfront and clear with it. But then it gives you a little bit more like, you know what, that didn't really affect everything. There wasn't the complaints. Or, yeah, this is still crazy. Let's not do this. So I think that could be a good way to do it. And like, we will reconsider unbanning it in a year from now. Like, and so like, you're not really going to get those, the speculators. You shouldn't get a huge spike in these cards. Like, that's a little bit.
I think you still would. I think if they did that, even more so, because people were like, oh shit, this could, if they would have done, think of that with Stoneforge Mystic, with not Commander, that was modern that they were, they're like, they didn't even say it, but people are like, oh, they gotta unban this, and then eventually, imagine if they would have warned it.
Unbanning,
right? Yeah. All right, why don't you get on to our next one?
I'm gonna go with Gifts Ungiven, because I have been beating this drum since we started this podcast. This is 3 colorless blue instant. Search your library up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand. Then shuffle your library. This is no different than Intuition. Essentially, that's an unbanned card, reserve list, up to $150 now. It's just, we have a card that is used. There's no reason for this to be banned. It's 4 mana. Essentially, it's a graveyard enabler, like in Esper colors, black, white, blue. On burial rights and 1 large creature, that player has to choose those 2 cards that go into your graveyard. And essentially that next turn, you're bringing back a big fatty. That's turn 5 if it's in your hand on turn, whatever. So it might be a little early, and maybe it's just adding too much consistency.
But every card has its combos to you go get this and do that. I can just see this being used in blue decks. You go and search for 4 amazing cards, or even use this political wise. You have somebody else that's the threat on the board, and you're like, hey, I'm choosing you, not the threat on the board, and I'm going to get these 4 cards. Choose these 2. This will save us. Put those in my hand and these in the graveyard. No, like, it's just there's so much that you can do with this card, and I don't think it's broken. I mean, of course, some people are going to break it, but everybody breaks cards all the time. Like you said, there's cards that are like this and that aren't banned.
It's a super powerful card. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know why it's banned. Like, I don't even. There are crazier cards, for sure. Right. This is probably my number 1. Can come off the list.
Yeah, it's up there. I mean, for use, yes, because I would say Biorhythm could be up there, but that's not going to go on a lot of decks. Even if that gets unbanned, like, you're not going to use that a lot. Like, it really would fit in a theme, I guess, and that's maybe why it got banned, because you're probably playing a lot of creatures, it'd be in a lot of creature deck, little tokens or whatever. But this would just be used in a lot of blue decks. And yeah, I can see that being the most used one off of the list. I actually would probably put this one and probably put Balance as number 2 for me on the list. So, let me rephrase that. When we get to the other parts, I would put those other ones as 1, but they're never going to get there. But realistically, I think this is up there, 1 and 2,
What's one that you want to talk about?
I'm going to get to the last one before we talk about the reasoning for the last 2 things. Okay. So the last one on the list that just doesn't make sense why it's not banned or is banned is Coalition Victory. Coalition Victory. So this one is Wooburg, which is white, blue, black, red, green, and 3 colorless for a sorcery. And you need to you win the game if you control land of each basic type, land type, and a creature of each color. Yeah, there's some easy ways to get this to happen, but you got to pay 1 of each color and 3 colorless, and you have to have each creature color type, which you can do that with 1 creature if you're playing a deck like that, and that's maybe why it caught the ban. But
you're talking
5 color
about
decks.
Like, I need at least 4 different cards to make this work. Right?
Yeah. Right. Because you need something that's changing all your lands to every single basic land type, or you have all the basic land types. Yeah. Then you need your creature that has all the colors on it, or multiple creatures. And then you got to cast this. I think the problem is the interaction part. Is if you have it, it isn't at the beginning of your upkeep you get this. It's you cast it. If somebody doesn't counter it and you have all that, the game's over.
Yeah, but it's you can also remove something though.
Right. You can take out that creature and then it's just the spell doesn't do anything, or the spell or whatever. If everything's changed, your land's an artifact or whatever, take that out. Yeah. So there's things you can do to interact with it. But I think the reason why it caught it is most of the time you can't really interact with it unless you counter it or do something at instant speed. It doesn't have at the beginning of upkeep thing.
And I saw this last unbanning a bit more conversation about this card becoming unbanned on Twitter. And I think Shivam had a pretty good reasoning for it. It's just like, would this make games better? And you're like, well, maybe not. Like, but again, I don't know if it just needs to. Like, you could ban a ton of cards that would make the format better. But having less cards on the ban list is better, because there are a lot crazier things than this that they're not going to unban.
So, have you ever played like Ticket to Ride or any of those games? Like, kind of like, I think Risk does this as well, where everybody has their own little objectives of what they're supposed to do. And if you complete that objective, you win the game. Ticket to Ride doesn't do that so much, but everybody has, like, you're supposed to make these paths, get it from one city to one city, but people don't know what you're trying to do. Okay. That's what I have this feel for this, is that player has this winning card in their hand, but they need to make all these other things work out. So they're always trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see
it's that. Like a secondary plan. Like, they're trying to get the game winner, but they have to work at it. You have to get all these things, these pieces to work out.
Like work.
Yeah.
I agree.
I would never play it. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't put it, if I, had my 5-color deck, I wouldn't play it in there.
Coalition Victory would go in Slivers. It'd go in Trombley's Slivers deck.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
for sure.
Indestructible Slivers are every creature color, or, and then your 5-color deck. So that could suck.
Yeah, maybe let's keep it off. No,
but he doesn't need it either.
Right.
So it's like you'd add it in there for just in case, but it's not the plan.
You know what probably would have been a little more fair and kind of cool to do it this way is if they would have done the Wooburg, the 5, but then also 5 colorless. Or including Waste. Like, you had to have Wasteland as one of it.
That wasn't a thing. So. Yeah, I don't have any problem with this card. I think it can easily come off and not cause problems.
Right. It'll come off and you won't see this played at all. Like, you'll very rarely see people play with it. All right, let's get into the last 2, and there are reasons why these are the last 2, and what are the reasons why these, we want them, but they will never come off. They are probably a tier 4.
Yeah.
Because of one simple reason.
Money. All right, Moxes can easily come off, I think. They're fast mana, obviously.
We already have our 0 drops all over the place now. With your monocrypts and all that stuff, and why not have these bad boys out there? The reason, because they're so damn expensive. That's the only reason they're on here.
Pretty sure that's the case. And like when they made this list, vintage cards, Power 9, they're pretty iconic, and so the people that make the ban list are old school. they're all old school, and so they're going, these cards are crazy. It's like, yeah, they are. But if somebody had like a Mox Ruby Collector's Edition, Matt, I don't think I ever saw him actually play it.
Right.
He was like, "Can I play this?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he might have done it once, but it's not a crazy start.
Yeah.
And they're so expensive.
It's no crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're gonna get people that be like, "You guys are nuts for saying that." There's 0 drops that give you 1 mana. It's insane. Yeah, muff garbage. Oh, I should just go to that.
Muff garbage!
They're just muff garbage. Yeah, that's perfect, Lowery. We understand that they are very, very, very good cards, but they're not like it's no different than Soul Ring. Your turn 1, tap 1, get your Soul Ring out that gives you 2 mana. Like it's just they're good. They're good mana rocks, and they'd be awesome to have out. And the hard part about this for me is that my goal would be to try to get these if they were legal in Commander, but I'm never gonna. These aren't even on my radar because. What's the point of me going after these cards, dollar to duels, or even eventually, trading or selling enough that I buy these because I can't even use them. So it's just like they're pointless. But they're good. It'd be awesome to play with these cards. Of course, I wouldn't play with them. I'd play with a proxy, but
of course. I think it'd be fine to come off. That's
but they will never come off because of that. They would have to do. They could maybe make a new card like Jeweled Lotus where these only tap for your commander color or for your commander, I should say. You can only cast those, So that's the only way I could see that happening. The other one is Library of Alexandria. So this one even more so than the Moxes, I would think, because it's not. There's enough hindrance on this for it to be actually a playable card, but. It taps for 1 colorless, and then you can tap it to draw a card, but you can only activate the ability if you have exactly 7 cards in your hand. So there's a big enough stipulation that this one's fine, but the reason, it's the price. That's the big reason on this. And you had mentioned precast. There are cards that are similar to this.
Yeah, there's off the top of your head. Creature. It's Magus of the Library that taps or. I want to say it taps and creates a colorless, and then you can tap it and draw a card if you have 7 of cards. It's just not played.
Yeah.
I think I tried it in one deck, and I'm like, this is not good most of the time.
Now, this one I would definitely play a lot more, because it's a land. But the thing is it's not overpowering. The reason why it's there is because of the price. Yeah, you're right. It's Magus of the Library. You draw a card, play this only ability if you have exactly 7. So yeah, exact same card.
But let's think. Like, if you are able to, like, if you turn 1 this, like, is that good?
I mean, it's good, but it's no different than hitting your Soul Ring turn 1.
But you can't tap it that turn 1, can you? You draw up to 8.
You can tap it for 1 colorless.
You got 7. You tap it, draw a card, and then you have to discard a card because you used your land.
It's just like hitting that Soul Ring on turn 1, or
I'd rather have a turn 1 Soul Ring.
Right.
I'd rather have that for sure. And then if you have it in a deck that's able to draw up to 7 cards or has that much, and you're able to like control that level of how many cards you have in your hand, then you already, like, what does $1,000 card do for you?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the other good point is if they unban this, the price would skyrocket even more so, and I still don't think I'd go for it. Now the Moxes, on the other hand, I would.
I would go for the Moxes.
I would shoot for those.
I would have a hard time playing with the Library of Alexandria. Like, maybe it's good for a Reanimator deck, like draw up to 8 to allow you to discard a card to reanimate the next turn.
But that's still situational.
For sure.
Like it's not But you're just saying, I get what you're saying. You're saying that would you even play with this card? Like, yeah, it's not a card I would shoot for.
I'm even trying to find like where it would be good. Like, it's for sure not broken. You know, there's
no,
but they won't unban this.
No, they won't. Same with the Moxes.
Yeah.
So those are really tier 4, but they should be in tier 1 here.
Like that.
So
maybe we're just missing something, and people are going to say that we're crazy. But this is the worst card on our list.
Ooh, controversial.
I don't know if it is. I don't even know if it's good.
Well, I guess you're right. I would play Biorhythm. Trying to see if there's anything else I wouldn't play on here. I probably wouldn't play the Coalition Victory.
That doesn't mean that it's not good. I mean, it's work. I think it'd be played a lot more than Library.
So let's just hypothetical. Mm-hmm. This card was unbanned and wasn't the price it was at. It was a $15 card. Would you put it in decks?
I couldn't tell you where I'd put it.
So you wouldn't just put it in every deck to be like, all right, if I get to 7, I maybe draw, or try to get up to 7 so I can draw another one?
I think it
adds that. There's too much of a stipulation, because how often are you at 7 cards past the first turn? First couple turns.
I mean, unless you're doing really good well.
With the draw. Yeah, I could see it going in a handful. I would say probably
the Locust God.
Maybe 25% of my decks.
Yeah,
30% of my decks might make it. It might make.
I could agree with that. Like just being a land that's colorless. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So. But it's not going to happen. It's a pipe dream. It's never even none of these. But it would be sweet. It would suck, because if they did that with the Moxes, they would be completely untouchable. But at least I'd have a goal.
Yeah.
It would be like, all right, I'll shoot for those $20,000 Moxes.
God, where are they at now?
Oh, let's just do a quick
let's do
gander
a little
at this.
depression.
Mox Amber, or not Amber? No.
I don't think we talked
Unlimited.
about this, but did you see that what the Black Lotus landed at on auction? The signed one?
So it went to $1 million, but then those weren't real.
So it was about 500,000. It ended up just a little over.
Jeez.
That's still a lot of money.
So the Mox Unlimited is 3,500. Betas are at... Oh, thank you, Goldfish. You don't even give a price. 8,500. So yeah, they would jump like crazy if they did that. So, all right. So we need to move.
In the common tongue, it says one
spec
to rule them all. One
spec
to fight them. One
spec
to bring them all. And in the darkness, find them.
All right, so we are picking what this week, Lar? What set
We're going
are we
with
going?
Core set 2019.
Yeah, why did they do that? They went from M's to cores, and why did they switch it? That doesn't even make any sense, but yes.
I don't know.
I'm used to that too.
I don't know. It would have been a good idea just to stick with M whatever.
So what we do in this is we pick a set, and basically we've just been working our way backwards, and we pick one card from it that you can put all your money in on, and we think that card will go up in price. Might be soon, might be later, but we are very confident that these will go up. So, Lowery, what is your one spec from Core Set 2019?
I'm going to go with Liliana's Contract. This is 3 colorless black enchantment. When it comes into play, you draw 4 cards, lose 4 life, and then there's the extra stipulation of if you control 4 demons with different names, you win the game.
At the beginning
of your upkeep. And
I don't even think you play that card for that part. You just do it for the first part.
Yeah,
that's
5
amazing.
mana for 4 cards and 4 life is a pretty good rate. And it's if you have some type of blink effects for permanence, that can work well for you. That new Mardu enchantment, like sacrifice an enchantment, bring back an enchantment, can work for you. But I do think just the rate of 5 mana for 4 cards and 4 life is pretty on par for mono black decks.
Yeah, for sure. That you just need that, and it'd still be a good card. You know, I think even what you do with this is you only have like a handful of demons in your deck, enough that you could technically win the game with it. But you just have this be a target for people that get scared. You start playing a couple demons here and there, and instead of destroying another enchantment you have, just the threat of having 4 demons, you win the game. They're like, let's get rid of that. You know, it's not a big deal. But how many decks was this actually in?
It is in 4,034.
That's not bad.
So it's there, but it's not like anything crazy either.
No.
But I think that last part turns people off. It's like, I don't have any demons in here, so I'm not going to play this.
Right. You don't need to be in a demon deck. It can just
draw you cards.
In a black deck.
Yeah. So I think that's where people play sorceries that are 4 mana, draw 3 cards, lose 3 life. Mm-hmm. And this is 1 more mana, 1 more card, 1 more life, and that's really good scaling. So you know, so that's just kind of how I see it, and it's something that I should probably consider more on filling up the hand.
Yeah, that's solid. And what did you say the prices were at?
Non-foil is $122. I would probably spec on the pre-release foils that are hanging around $3-ish. So that's probably what I would aim for.
Yeah, I dig it. I like that. I'm gonna write it down and pick some up.
I liked yours too.
Yeah. So I have Psy Master Thopterus, and this is the 2 and a blue legendary creature human artificer, and it's a 1/4. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Tap 2, which is 1 colorless and 1 blue. Sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw a card. So it doesn't tap. You can do that for as much mana as you have. You're creating those Thopters. This can be your commander, but it works perfect in artifact decks. It's blue. This is going in every artifact deck. In fact, it is in 10,000 decks, and that's not as the commander. As the commander, I think it was in like 1,000 or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's mono blue, so most of the time if you're doing that, you're probably going to play Urza, whatever. Was it Lord High Lord? Artificer, Lord. Whatever his name is. But this goes in any artifact deck, and it has draw built in on it. You're getting creatures by casting artifact spells. The foils, they're a little more expensive, but they're sitting around $7-8. But your non-foils are at... Oh, no. Hang on. That was just the goldfish prices. I was seeing foils at $5. The promo foils, the pack foils, and the pre-release foils. So they also did... I don't get that the other sets had those promo foils in them. So it was in the promo pack core set 2020, even though this is from core set 2019.
Yeah, those Planeswalker promos stamped are all over the place.
It's just weird. But those are the ones I would go for. That one's, like I was saying, you can pick these up for $5. The non-foils for core set 2019 are going for $4, $3 or $4. You spend a couple more dollars and get a solid looking one. You can't go wrong with this.
No, the card is really, really powerful. Just being able to create that army with casting artifacts, which you're going to be putting in decks that you're doing that anyway. So I think it's a solid card for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's really only an hour or so, but that was a 2-hour and change episode there, Lowery.
Congratulations.
If you guys want to hear the after hours, or not after, it would be before the precast stuff, become a patron, because that's where we're going to put it. We're going to give that out for patrons to hear us just bullshit. So
if you want us to hear us blabber more, along with just setting up what we just talked about.
Right. You can hear what we cut and how we figured out the tiers and all that stuff. That's what we do. We don't talk during the week necessarily. We just text and then we discuss it. So you can hear the magic happen. So magical. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.